So hello everybody, welcome to this evening's meeting of the Community and Committee. I would like to advise everyone present that should the fire alarm sound, you should leave the building immediately via one of the fire exits, which are clearly signposted, and the fire assembly point is in the car park. You should not return to the building for any reason until you have been advised that it's safe to do so. Can I please remind everyone to put your mobile phones on silent mode and put the phone away for the duration of the meeting, and thereby avoiding interference from your iPad or with the microphone, which we haven't got today. The meeting will be recorded and live streamed on YouTube, and therefore when speaking, please remember to speak clearly into the microphone. And as the chair of the meeting, I have the discretion to terminate or suspend recording and live streaming if, in my opinion, continuing to do so would prejudice the proceeding of the meeting. Recording and live streaming of confidential items will also not take place. To alert me as the chair of the meeting that you would like to speak, please raise your hand. And please remember, if you leave the meeting for any reason, you will not be able to take part in the vote on the item that's being discussed at that time. Members of the public will be able to view the live stream of the meeting via YouTube. And please, can I request that when speaking, you make your points as succinct as possible to allow for the smooth running of the meeting. And can I also take this opportunity to remind you to be polite and to treat each other with respect at all times. So before we start the official business, we have two speakers this evening. So I'd like to welcome Mr. Giles Adams from Visit Somerset and also Mr. Pinnett. I have to apologise for my back to you.
It's not doing much else.
Who will be talking to us about open agenda items. So could I ask Giles, if you would like to go first, please. You have 3 minutes.
Well, thank you. Good evening, Chair and members and officers. I'm very grateful for my 3 minutes and the opportunity to outline very briefly Visit Somerset's desire to work with Taunton Town Council in promoting the important visitor economy. Our most recent figures from 2019 indicate that the total visitors spent within the then Taunton team was £155 million. My association with Taunton is not very long standing. I've only been here 51 years, in fact. The bus used to drop me very appropriately in Belvedere Car Park up through Chip Lane to be 11 minutes late for school every morning, just like a vegetarian. The opportunities afforded by the formation of Taunton Town Council to refine and promote the town as a visitor destination for the benefit of the community through employment and facilities alongside a programme to gain visitors is very exciting. The town has excellent product offer, attracting many customer markets. Alongside that, Visit Somerset works with stakeholders such as GWR, First Bus, Somerset Council, Visiting Group, and many others on a wider strategic basis. We commenced working with the then Somerset West and Taunton to have a major presence for Taunton on our website at their request. This has resulted in very high online engagements, bringing high prominence for Taunton and also reflecting how visitors view both precise and wider geography in their travel plans. Collectively, we all work to extend the season, length of stay and visitor spend. The development of a specific website will enable this prominence and portrayal to become more focused now that the wider district local authority has changed. However, I hope that the proposal to resume the valuable work with Visit Somerset, primarily via our own website, in maintaining the wider and significantly amplified profile can be accepted. Just some quick figures for you. The Visit Taunton homepage on our website has annual visitors of around about 46,000. The accommodation page is 29,000, and things to do around about 55,000, so it is significant. It is tremendous value, in my opinion, given the large number of businesses that have been supported. I think a lot of you are aware, if you looked at the room directory on our website, how many retailers and other destination businesses are supported. And it will resume real force in the presentation of the many themes and events being implemented by the town council. So once again, thank you very much for giving me the time. Under 3 minutes, I hope. And do ask me any questions if that's appropriate.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Elliott.
Good evening, Chair and Councillor. Thank you for inviting me. My reason to be here is because we have been for 3 years trying to get additional lighting in Eastwick Avenue. We are linked to Linford Square through an angled passageway which is extremely dark and is dangerous for children and adults for that matter walking through it. That's why we're seeking to get this additional light on glass. It is, well, the correspondence file is about that thick, I think, now over the 3 years. But that's the reason I'm here, and I thank Marcus Prowse for inviting me to come. And I hope that we can an additional street light not too far away. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So we'll turn now to the official business as outlined on the agenda. And the first thing is, do we have any apologies on it?
No, Chair.
Do we have any declarations of interest? Turning now to the minutes of the previous meeting. So the recommendation is to approve and sign as a correct record the minutes of the previous Community and Place Committee meeting held on the 30th of July 2024. Hopefully you all had a chance to read. And I have a proposer. Second up. And that's to confirm that they are indeed a correct record. Motion carried. Oh, sorry. See, that's you got to I knew I would be on. All those in favour. Thank you. I'm so glad you're on. Motion carried. Thank you.
Sorry.
All right. That's the right.
Yes. We said it all, didn't we?
We did. We're very busy at that. Thank you. Next item, members to note the forward plan for the community and place committees. Hopefully, you've all seen the forward plan. Can I just ask how we get these onto the forward? How it's happening? Yes. So you can come. That's me. And you would, check the back. Okay. Marcus.
I was asking people, I'm just saying there is an agenda form.
Yes.
Yeah. Can be sent.
Okay.
So you be set on the.
Yeah, yes.
Practice.
So have you all had a chance to have a look at for any comments? It's very difficult. It's very different. It's very So moving on to item 5 is the update from me.
Thank you, Chair. But because I've got to go to another meeting, but I'd like to, if it's possible, just take 5 minutes at a time.
If my fellow members are happy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. A fortnight ago, I went to the Police and Crime Commissioner meeting, the Taunton. Wasn't any there? Not one councillor was there, not one parish councillor was there, because we weren't invited. No one knew about it. This makes me angry. I was invited from another organisation. They got invited and they're in the middle of Taunton. We haven't. All I want to do, Madam Chair, is hand these out, because I was fuming at the police commissioner. I thought it was totally unfair that the organisations which should have been there, none of them were there. I was there. And I think it's important that we should have known what's going to happen in policing Taunton. That's what they wanted to know, what we thought.
Yes.
I'm sorry about this one. And these cards will also give you the natural line to there.
Thank you. Do you want some cards over this?
I'll leave it to you.
Yeah, thank you.
Sorry about that.
No, that's absolutely fine. I'm very looking forward to it.
Maybe, sorry, I will just go now, honestly. I've got to go somewhere else anyway. Maybe the officers should find out from the police commission why we're not being invited.
Yes, translated, great, thank you. So thank you very much.
I'll leave you the piece to go. I promise you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Now just stop the region, I'll go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be in touch.
See you later. Yeah.
So, but, I think the couple of things, there's not much in the world. There's always lots of things that go on in between from one meeting to the next. But obviously some of it is actually on the agenda. So a couple of things, recent decisions at the last full council was that the climate and ecological plans endorsed. It's gone through, and also the service level agreement for 25-26 for business centres was also agreed. Matters under our committee, Friends of Policy has been agreed at the Finance and the Governance Committee last week, and the unauthorised encampment policy amendments were also agreed at the Finance and Governance meeting last week. So although they sort of policies although they some of the things sit under our committee, they have to be ratified by another one. It's just the governance side. So I understand from Craig that the PCSO will be at our November meeting. So we're actually going to get a presence here at our meeting place, which is going to be great. So at least we'll have that link. The street marshal role continues to grow. Hopefully we may have an update from Beth if she's managed to, when she can get in on the ball. He's now got his laptop, got his laptop now, hasn't he? I think.
Yes.
Yeah, he's got his laptop and his radio link to the TV centre. So he'll be able to now use the software and report back from SWL to generate reports of where issues arise within the town, and that consequently generates something called a heat map. So they'll be able to pinpoint where those areas are in the town where there's issues. And also if we need to change his route because of those, then that's something that we'll discuss with Beth and SWL. The community review, as you can't have failed to notice, has had quite a boost on Facebook. The banners keep popping up everywhere. It's due to finish, I believe, on the 2nd of October. Take-up at the moment is very low. But the feedback, I think, mentioned to you, Craig, and I think also to, I think it was Trish Paula, because she also put a shout out on Talk Matters, that a lot of people are saying, what's the point? Because nobody listens. But I think, you know, taking from that, I think that actually that is a point that we can take from that. You know, that is it's a valid point that we should be able to demonstrate that we are listening. So, you know, that is one of the things, even if we don't get a lot of good, I think we will get some take up, but not as much as possibly that we're all expecting. We've had Taunton Point, very successful, and well done to the team. Well done to all the team, made it so successful, and all the volunteers and the councillors that took part in it as well. I also understand that interviews were held for the new climate and place officer this morning. So obviously there should be some news about that. No?
So just to update, that's been rescheduled for the next Tuesday.
Right, so it's the next Tuesday. This is how quickly things change. I love it. It's like a space.
Chair, I was just going to also mention in regards to the police presence at the November committee meeting, if any councillor has any specific matter that they would like to discuss, if you could let us know at least a week before, and then the police can come prepared with information to share specific to that matter.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Thank you. Thanks for that. So I think that's enough for me for now. So I would like now to turn to update from chairs and working groups. And while I've got the mic, so to speak, I would just say that the Civic Task and Finish group hasn't met yet, but we are due to meet on 1st of October, which is next week. So we'll be able to report back to.
Chair, I'm responsible that the public transport working group does sit under this committee. It's not listed. And I would like to give a very brief report.
That's fine. So Ollie, can you note that?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Councillor. Would you like to give your update now?
Yes, thank you, Chair. Public transport working group met yesterday evening. It currently consists of myself, together with John Hassel, who used to be a councillor under the Somerset West and Taunton District Council, and transport crew. Thank you. My memory of my name. It's an age thing. Anyway, the three of us discussed in great detail where we should be going. We've decided to recommend to this committee, we won't like a slight restructuring. They feel, and so do I, that we will form a separate group, which is not part of the council, to explore all sorts of issues and bring in far more people. But they feel that somebody from the council should be represented on this wider body to report back. So we will still keep the public transport working group, meet 3 or 4 times a year, simply for those things where we feel that councillors might like to get involved. For example, monitoring what's happening at bus stops with regard to timetables and so on, things that affect our local residents in the wards, and to restrict it to that, unless there's something specifically Taunton Council can do. So That shows all I really want to say. It's not that nothing is happening, but that we feel this will be a much more effective way of progressing things in the future. And relieving the pressure on councillors. Because it's obvious that there's so many initiatives that it's hard to find enough people who actually come on meetings.
Thank you. So the workshop test and finish working group, that's actually in the Jetty Bank, so we'll distribute that one. The climate and ecological emergency action plan working group. So,
I need to convene another meeting and I'm thinking of expanding the membership of it. There are quite a lot of groups that want to get involved. Similarly, I'm still finding the arts and culture working group. Like actually theatre and there's a whole pile of people. Yeah. And the new MP is very important to me for the arts and culture working group because he's lobbying, he's got a second with the minister of something. The week of October, so he's told me there is such a big sort of all that, and then he's dropping up. Arts Council coming down to Taunton specifically on something which I do remember. So he was like, link in with it. So you will get that sorted. Because so everyone is really busy. I don't want to, Taunton together. Once that is over, then I'll hold there's something you come up forever.
So you'll be able to give us a report back at the next meeting.
I anticipate it being some report.
All pages. So that, does that sort of tie in with the arts and culture working group as well? As with last time,
It sort of does, yes, it kind of does, yeah. I mean, we're all tied up with talking together at the moment. So once we've got through that, then we can get on the other stuff. But there are very many people now who are actually on at me. Have approached me, I should say, actually, to say, could Taunton please organise a music festival? Because we have so many brilliant musicians in Taunton who live in Taunton, who have, credentials as long as you're on, and yet they're going here, there and everywhere. They live here, but they're travelling everywhere to perform, so could we please organise a music festival? So it's something to think about. I spoke to somebody today, just having Carol about it, who organised a music festival in North Curry. And I think, if they can organise it in North Curry, surely they can organise it in Trent. So that's the update as far as I'm concerned.
Any questions? Working group. Thank you very much for those updates. Have we managed to get into this? Beth managed to sort of done she said. Okay.
We haven't mentioned twinning working group yet.
Oh, I apologise. We'd like to.
We haven't met at all since we decided to split the civic from the twinning side, and I think we do need to set up a meeting.
Well, we do, but we have been working behind the scenes, of course, because an announcement I would like to make benefit is that at Taunton Together, we actually for the first time have a twinning stall which represents twinning across the board, be it this year or coming to. We both produce banners and we want to promote the whole concept of twinning in Taunton. And it's so important that Taunton Town Council seem to be directly involved in all twinning activities.
I think it's famous. The two groups have been working very closely now. So
yes,
together we're talking together, but also together we're working for an entry to the carnival this year.
yes.
So we're having a twinning entry to the carnival. We've just got some details on some kind of insurance. So Last year, we had entries, the town council didn't we, for vehicles. We had to get private insurance. That's something I need to, I'll chase up with, I'll check up with you. Forgot to mention anything. But other than that, look out for twinning. So the aim is to have 3 class, 1 represents each country, perhaps slightly symbolic, possibly stereotypical. But again, it's going to be nice. It's going to be a nice entry to the. I think we do that year on year, and then we're just really promoting. So actually, the 2 are coming together quite nicely. So it's really nice if we can get this twinning group up and running, so that the council really can actually just draw it all together, and then just be the umbrella.
It's also worth mentioning that the 2 groups are technically different in that the Leisure group is a civic twinning group, whereas the Ecology group is a friends of group. And in both cases, there were the comparable groups that are folded. So I'm the chair of the working group, and Nick is the vice chair. It's been incestuous because Nick is the chair of Leisure Twinning and I'm the vice chair. So between us, we are actually very keen that both groups should move forward together. We're not really fussed what they're called, but they should both be involved with both civic activities, but also have a social element. And this will come up again in this forum because of funding. At the moment, Leisure has enough money which is carried forward. The time will come when we may have to apply for a grant. And I think the correct procedure was to go to the grants committee for funding in the future. It's quite different to the setup that existed under the district council.
Both.
And both groups have to be seen to be treated.
And it'd be nice if that was.
And the mayor is invited each year to either Germany or France. The pattern is actually very similar in practice. That's just to bring you up there.
Thank you. Apologies for missing you off the list.
No,
It's on, but it's just been scanned down.
Well, we seem to create one because we split the civic and twinning, but the civic group haven't actually met for twinning. It's a brand new committee. So we haven't actually get formed it.
Thank you. Okay, so we were due to hear item 7 update from Beth Ricketts from SWL, but Craig's just explained she's given her apologies. So she's unable to give us an update. I mean, I gave you a brief overview. If you would like a brief update, I'm sure Craig and I can give you a quick update, but I think most of it is just ongoing, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm happy to give a 5-minute.
Yeah, that would be useful.
That would be-
oh yes,
Really useful, thank you.
So following the last meeting, I think Nick was just being recruited or scheduled to start, but I'm delighted to say that actually he settled into his role really well. I think he's made already quite a significant impact across the town centre. He's part of our town centre WhatsApp group, and he's fully engaged with the businesses, understanding the issues that are affecting them. He's also been working with the homeless team, so the Taunton Association for the Homeless, ARC, and also just kind of educating himself and getting specialist support regarding how to communicate with the homeless and people with mental health concerns, and everything that he's discovering and finding, he's logging on a central assist system, which is the system that creates the heat maps. So we know in Taunton where the issues are most prevalent. What they have found out is that Greggs is particularly hardest hit by all the retail shops across the town centre. But he's made a site visit to the Bridgewater CCTV control room. So he's established relationships there. He's picked up his radio control. So he's able to communicate quite efficiently and effectively with the CCTV team and to escalate issues with the local policing team quite quickly, I would say really quickly, actually. And he also attended a roundtable discussion in Castle Green, Clem Mackenzie's, where Castle Green is a problem area antisocial behaviour that's affecting all of the businesses there. So we had a roundtable with the local policing team, Somerset Council, and we're looking at options regarding public space protection orders and other measures that may help to deter these issues. But yeah, anybody that's part of the town centre WhatsApp group will see just how active Nick has been and the engagement work that he's been doing across the town centre. In the October session, in that service level agreement meeting, we will get a more detailed report as to the types of issues and where they're occurring, and then we can, as a committee, start to identify whether there's any additional measures that we might want to consider to help reduce the issues that are impacting the town centre.
Any questions?
Just an observation, I was, the other pub that's in Castle Green, not Hideout, the Mackenzie's session. No, it was Hideout. You mentioned Mackenzie. I was sitting outside there one evening and it was really unpleasant. There was a kid spitting at me and it's quite obnoxious and it's driving people away from the businesses there. And the manager of the Castle Bar I met the same week, he was having a strong go at me over it. So I think it's very serious in Castle Green and needs a strong police presence until this problem is resolved.
Thank you. Can I just say, why can no one get those lights fixed? I've been trying and trying. I've written several letters of complaint to Somerset Council about those 3 lights, and I haven't got anywhere with them. And it's very dark. And at night there are people waiting for the bus, and even, you know, quite early in the evening, they're waiting for the bus in the dark. You know, it's kind of sinister. It's like kind of horror movies moving into this place, and all these shadowy figures, you know, they're sitting there. It's very strange. I just think, you know, there must be a way of getting those lights fixed. I have written, I can't tell you, maybe 5 complaints about the lights and nothing.
Yeah, so thank you, Chair. The lights were picked up as part of that roundtable antisocial behaviour conversation. They are quite bespoke, unique lamps, and they do let in water, and it's the water that triggers the electric switch, turns them off. The Somerset Council representatives at that ASB table said that they would take that issue away with them and look at how they may be able to waterproof those lights to stop them from turning off, but every time it rains, it seems to trigger the switch.
I've never actually seen them working at all, whether it rains or not. I don't think, you know, that seems to be the issue. It seems to be they just don't work. And, you know, they urgently need reflecting. Thank you. Sorry.
Any questions? Okay. I'd like to ask the members if I'd like to just slightly just change the agenda order if happy. Due to the fact that we've got Mr. Kinnett here, at the moment his agenda's at item 14. And also Giles is here and his item's at 11. So what I was going to suggest was just moving them up the agenda.
Yeah.
So thereby to sit all the way through.
I'm enjoying it.
So if I may, if we could move on to item 14 on the agenda, which is about shared lighting scheme, Eastwick Avenue at Lincoln Square. So we are being asked to consider and recommend to the full council the allocation of circa £4,000 from the community infrastructure levy, so to support the delivery of a new street lamp post covering the pathway that links Lincoln Square to Chatham Road by Eastwick Avenue. And I believe that would be you, Marcus. Is that your report?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So 2 members have had a chance to read the recovery report and the attachment appendices, which is the letter from Mr. Kingston, the Residents Association. And thank you for playing on tonight. As I say, we think the original request came in sometime in January to the town council. And then we made inquiries with the Somerset Council, learned about this shared lighting scheme that they have in operation, which is the fact that they will look after the light that they requested from the council pays the initial installation fee, which they've advised is circa £4,000. So there will be no long-term costs associated with this once it's in. It will be looked after by Somerset Council. So, as I say, they are currently undergoing a demobilisation process with their contractor. So we were told that in January. They originally said that it would be the 1st of April before they would even consider coming out with a negotiation, but since extended it to the 1st of October. And so they advised that, taking this through the committee process, I was keen to get the funds earmarked if possible, for council to consider. So if and when Somerset say, right, our contract is up and ready, we can go out and do a quotation and get the works ready. We wouldn't have to wait for the democratic process. So in terms of that, I then wrote to Mr. King about the committee report. Highways Lighting were also copied in. They've come back and said they are extremely busy with the mobilisation and demobilisation, and they also have a lot of staff sickness. But they've said if we do not receive a response about the quote within the next 2 weeks, please give us a nudge. So to sound positive, they are engaging with us. Obviously, this report aligns with the corporate plan, the Taunton Town Council, tackling antisocial behaviour, which is Mr. King has attested to, and fly tipping, and priority 3, supporting our community groups such as resident associations when they bring those concerns forward to us. In terms of the climate aspirations and the new contractor of Highways are committed to the journey of a carbon neutral Somerset by 2030. So they'll use locally sourced materials, LEDs, and deliver projects sustainably. They have, I think initially they had raised some concerns around the private nature of the road. So I think there is, when they come out to do their quotation, it'll be interesting to see where they think it could be sited. So that's still sort of the concern, but as long as it gives good coverage to the alleyway, can then alleviate some of the concerns. In terms of the SIL funding, I know that last week's Finance and Governance Committee there's been a request for sort of a SIL policy to sort of guide this council and how it's spending its SIL funding. We are aware that we are accruing quite substantial amounts associated with developments that be built out. Obviously, there are criteria on which you can spend SIL funding, but it can be spent across the whole of the Taunton Town Council area, but it has to be spent on certain specific things related to alleviating the pressure of development. So not all of the SIL monies that we're accruing are associated with the Comitro ultra growth development, because I know there is some concern that obviously keeping enough of that aside for the public open space that's coming on stream there. So I think 90,000 of this year's equivalent of 310 is associated from other developments across the town. Last year we accrued a total cost of 344,000, so this year 310,000. It's been spent within 5 years, otherwise it gets money back to the developer. So we as a council are obviously keen to ensure that we are getting that money out of the door, because there's a clock set, and we're not going to do any of that back to developers. So I think following the request of Finance and Governance, we're heading to obviously develop the SIL policy that'll go to council alongside this plan. So there will be a sort of strategic element to this, isn't just pell-mell allocating things to that pot. There will be a policy that sits alongside that. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. That's nice. I think this is a no-brainer. I mean, it's something that's wanted by the community. There's an obvious demand. We have money in a pot, and I'd love to see us spend on a SIL
And things like small things and relatively small things, and bigger things that maybe like sister. One second, so, yeah, I think it's absolutely, you know, to get on, yeah, get that signed, sealed and delivered so that you can nudge Somerset when they're in a position to get cracking with it. I'm assuming the position where the residents want it, does that have to be negotiated, or can they just say, well, it's going to go here, we want it here, and how will that all work? Because that will be agreed already. The position.
On the. Sorry, Susan. They asked when you make an application that you identify sort of, I think in Mr. King's application, they requested a plan marked with a proposed area indicating the area of illumination required. A technician will then visit the site and determine the best possible position. So the technician will be sort of actually making the best.
Then will the technical level sort of communication so that you know what the residents.
Yeah, it's key. So I think we'll copied them in there.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think that's absolutely no brainer. I think that's.
Yes, I agree with Caroline there. Living on Linford Square for quite a few years, I know the park very well, and it's very dark at night, and no, it needs something down there. It'd be great to have it, and yeah, I think it's very important to keep the residents, not just of Eastwick Avenue, but the houses towards the end of Linford Square there as well, to make sure they're involved as well, because obviously a lamppost could be shining through windows and bits as well as, which you don't obviously want. Yes, just make sure everyone be informed, but yeah, I think we've got to say that.
Councillor O'Donnell and Councillor Strauss.
Yes, so just following on, very supportive of this proposal, and then just following on, will we need to get permission, will we have to go and talk to houses, noticing where their position, paying for the gardens, will we have to get permission, negotiation, against them, so that, so make sure that this is happening, because we, again, lampposts, and then right up into the garden, have also potential things for people to climb up and then jump into their garden. So is that something we have got that clear with it? Because from an environmental point of view, I very much like down facing lights for the dark spinners. And also, so we discussed earlier about lampposts only came on when you approached them. I think that some lampposts, would residents be happy with that? Or can we ask them the question? I think given the choice, to be honest. But again, rather than lampposts that's on all the time, only on when it's needed, again, just helps save the environment. But I think that's a decision for the residents myself, and something that should be on.
I should probably bear an interest because I know Mr. King very well with both fellow members of Taunton Castle Project and the president. So I'd just like to ask the view of this group whether I may be permitted to vote.
Having said that, can I just say, I also do Mr. Knittberg. Should I have declared that at the beginning?
And I should refer to Deputy Clerk.
I think it's personal, not prejudicial.
Yes.
It's not as if you live on the street.
No, that's not cute.
You've got
I was only just triggered by Martin there.
Yeah. Well, I think it's very important that these things are treated professionally.
Thank you. Thank you. So just to sort of come back to the recommendation that we have to consider and recommend to the full council the allocation of circa £4,000 from that sale to support the delivery of a new street lamp proposed covering the pathway that links Linford Square with Cheddar Road by Eastwick Avenue. Can I have a proposer? Thank you, Councillor Lees. Thank you, Councillor Lees, and a second. Votes in favour. Unanimous. Thank you very much. So moving on to item. Thank you very much. Thank you.
If I make a move now.
No.
Yes. It's just darkly now.
You've got a park of it.
So,
We are past the economics after all.
Aye.
We are past the economics.
all right. So carrying on with moving on the items of the agenda, item 11, which is the destination management visit to the website. Before we shall hear which way round do we do this? Do I need to talk about resolve suspending standing orders now? Or once we have gone through? No, okay. So I propose to the members here that we resolve to suspend standing order 7.1 to allow for the consideration of item 11. This is because the resolution isn't normally, shall not be reversed within 6 months. So the original decision was made in April, we're revising it. So it's just that we now have your agreement that we resolve to suspend standing order 7. So can I have a proposal? Mr. Strauss and a seconder. Mr. Ellis. For those in favour? Thank you. Motion carried. So we are being asked to consider the approval of an extension to the Visit Taunton website as part of Visit Somerset website or new service level agreement drawn up between the Taunton Town Council and Visit Somerset. And I believe Craig, you have a report.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So just to provide some background information, Visit Somerset, an organisation focused on managing destination marketing approaches for Somerset, but it does provide support for Taunton tourism sector by incorporating the Taunton element into the website. It was initially formalised through a service level agreement between the former District Council of Somerset West and Taunton, alongside Visit Somerset. When these district councils were later consolidated under the local government reorganisation into the new unitary authority, the service level agreement was retained by Somerset Council. After Somerset Council disclosed its financial crisis, the agreement with Visit Somerset was not renewed, which put the destination content of the Visit Somerset website at risk. So there were options presented to the Community Services Committee in April, which it was agreed or resolved to develop a new destination website for Taunton. Whilst that work does continue, there is a gap in service provision for our tourism sector across Taunton. So this report will consider funding the Taunton part of the website and the creation of the service level agreement with Visit Somerset, extending its partnership with the Visit Somerset for as long as the council funds the Taunton Visitor Centre or until a new destination website is created. So regarding the corporate implications, there are 3 areas. Prosperous town by maintaining a platform that promotes the tourism industry. We foster economic growth and highlight Taunton's offering to attract businesses. An engaged community. So this will be a platform that will provide all sectors of Taunton's tourism with exposure, broadening their audience reach, as well as providing a place for the community to find out what's going on in Taunton. And finally, a vibrant culture, so a designated space to advertise local events, attractions and accommodation, which bolsters the town's lively culture. There's no climate or ecological implications with this decision. And a summary of the financial and resource implications. So the committee has designated funds for devolved services in the Somerset Council. Upholding the service level agreement with Visit Somerset will incur a cost of £4,000 over 12 months. The financial backing needed for this initiative can be drawn from the remaining £13,000 in the service growth and improvement devolved service budget. And with regards to risks, not pursuing would potentially leave Taunton without anywhere to go to find out what to do, where to go, and no support for Taunton's tourism sector. The timescale we would like to implement this service level agreement with Visit Somerset as soon as possible. And just to recap the recommendation, members to consider the approval of an extension of the Visit Taunton website as part of Visit Somerset with a new service level agreement drawn up between the Town Council and Visit Somerset.
Question.
But having listened to the report from Visit Somerset, I would have said this is very good value for the marketing we're getting and the advertising we're getting. To say it's promoting our town, and I'd support this.
Councillor Ellis and then Councillor Strauss.
I think this is another no-brainer, because obviously we can't, in the same way that we would not never accept a hiatus in terms of the tourist centre service, which we always wanted to guard against and have guarded against. Same goes in terms of the destination marketing and information, sculpture, all sorts of accommodation around the town. There cannot be a hiatus, cannot happen, so we need to ensure that there's always that level of service, so it seems obvious to have that deal with Visit Somerset until our own destination marketing websites up and running. Absolute no-brainer, really.
Councillor Strauss.
I just wanted to say after much of my career involved with the hospitality and leisure industry, and for a long time I was involved with Visit Exmoor, and I know just how valuable these services are. And as has been said, this is to me a no-brainer, and we're not asking about huge sums of money in relative terms, and the value for money is out of all proportion. I would be most disappointed if we didn't support.
Yeah, and I finally say yes, of course, yeah, for me as well, it's a no-brainer, and particularly since we've got people coming from all over the world next year. We need somewhere where they can actually look up where they're going and find out about where they're going, and having to find information, and and if it's not there, where they're going to, they're coming from Argentina, they're coming from Mexico, they're coming from Canada, they're coming from everywhere. So they need somewhere to where they can check where they're heading.
So, again, just to repeat the recommendation that we consider the approval of the extension to Visit Taunton website as part of Visit Somerset with a new service level agreement drawn up between Taunton Town Council and Visit Somerset at a cost of £4,000. Can I have a proposal? Councillor Ellis and seconder, Councillor Goldside. All those in favour? It's carried unanimously. Thank you. So you're more than welcome to stay, but we have to stand to do a run.
I will walk away, but thank you everyone. I know some of you, and there's others who I do not know. But hopefully, moving forward, this can be part of greater familiarisation and too much for us. So my ears slightly out of proportion to my mouth. So thank you very much.
States and on.
Okay, so I just need to what's the page now? There we go. So can I reinstate standing order 7.1 to allow yes, so propose a motion. So all those in favour?
Not specifically.
Yeah.
But I do work with groups who, is this the tree planting?
All right, so next though, we're back on hopefully back onto the normal order of things now. So item 8, the urban green challenge update. And
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I do have a couple of slides which I was going to put up. So if that's okay, I'd like to do that. Actually, the next 2 agenda items also require points to show. You can just spend a couple of minutes just letting that break. We'd also like to switch places with Councillor Clark, if I may, because my battery is about to die. My laptop is the closest to the charger. Yeah, points. Sorry, apologies.
it's just yeah, that's just true.
You're now
That's fine.
Sorry, thank you.
It has to be ourselves.
Thank you. It's okay. Lovely. Otherwise, my battery would die. Okay.
Do you need the lights to be looked at a little bit?
Yeah.
Maybe just. Where you want to put it. Right. You trying to do it?
I can see, let's just see whether this actually, works.
Thank you.
That's a nifty little screen.
I'm very impressed with this. It's very nice to grow. We're not on.
It's just,
I think it's retractable.
yeah, it's, let's just see if we can. Here we go. Oh, sorry. Can you just,
I thought it's.
yeah, just see that box. Yeah.
There we go. No, it's just.
Put some stuff out very well.
That's right to me.
Is that right for others?
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Let me just go. Oh, I'm going to make this bit bigger. Whee! Sorry, then you might just need to just tweak it a little bit. Yeah. Brilliant. Okay, thanks very much. So, yeah, I'm just going to provide a bit of an update on where we are with the Urban Tree Challenge Fund. As you know, full council agreed to endorse the submission of a bid to the Urban Tree Challenge Fund, which happened in June, and to accept the tree planting proposals that were created in collaboration with Somerset Council. It was to involve park users and community groups in discussions regarding the UTCF proposals and to assign the responsibility for advancing the funding bid and community engagement with the Operations and Assets Committee, which will oversee the installation and delivery once the bid is successfully secured. So just to remind you on some of the stats in our tree planting proposals, so the number of parks that we have across the parish of Taunton will be 8, and the total number of trees that we are proposing to plant is 403. And you can see the breakdown there between the parks. So I'll just quickly run through this for the benefit of Sue, Councillor Lees. We've got Lingford Park, which is 62, Prizewood Park 56, Taunton Green 59, Leslie Avenue 49, Galmington Park 53, Hamilton Park 43, Victoria Park 49, and Penningsfield 42. So, as part of the engagement exercise that was taking place, which took place on the 17th of July at Taunton Library, there was a consistent influx of visitors to Taunton Library engaging in in-depth discussions regarding the planting proposals, specifically for Victoria Park and Galmington Park. So some of those discussions actually related to the concerns regarding the avenue, the tree avenue that was proposed in Victoria Park. So as a result of that feedback, there were some alterations to the proposals. So this was the before the engagement work took place. You can see the proposed avenue right through the centre of Victoria Park there. And the feedback that we got is that that is actually in line with one of the pitches, one of the sports pitches. So that wasn't going to work for the residents. So after the engagement exercise, we've identified an extension to Victoria Park. Just on the right there, you can just see the proposed planting schedule with the red dots and the green dots in that kind of triangular area on the right of the screen there. So that is the final proposal for Victoria Park. We also had feedback from the Friends of Galmington Park. So they wanted us to conduct a review of the tree species within the park to ensure that actually they were tall and thin rather than short and stubby. I don't know. So, and that was to ensure that there was a clear line of sight throughout the park. So to promote safe and enjoyable environment, you know, certain trees included within the proposal may have visually blocked views of the park, potentially, you know, causing antisocial behaviour to appear. So what's actually happened since? So the Urban Tree Challenge Fund grant application was submitted at the end of June. We are still waiting on a response from the Forestry Commission on that bid. The tender has been developed to procure a contractor for the execution of trees, and the purchase of trees, the planting of trees, and the maintenance of trees over 3 years. So the tender officially went live on Contracts Finder on the 3rd of September. And we've had quite a few inquiries that have been received so far, which is a really positive sign, and we will have multiple proposals that will be submitted by the deadline, which will be the 30th of September. So we would then hope to appoint a contractor early to mid-October. So as just a reminder there, the tender closes on the 30th of September. And we are still awaiting the outcome of the grant application from the Forestry Commission. And that concludes your verbal update on the Urban Tree Challenge Fund. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Councillor Clark.
Just a quick question for Craig. There's quite a few going into Lincoln Park. Which obviously not anything against lots of trees going in, but where you've got your short stubby trees, as you put it, or the long thin ones. Again, that's a park which can suffer with a lot of antisocial behaviour, so I think careful consideration of trees. And whether it's worth asking citizens Somerset, they've been doing lots of work with school children around there to do with the antisocial behaviour and what the children from the actual park itself, to whether they get involved with the actual decisions. I'm not sure that they have at all. Just it is around the antisocial behaviour side. I think it would be concerning, especially for that park, because it does suffer a little bit. The only other thing is, when I was speaking to the YMCA, they would love to be involved in any planting opportunities. So you're aware, their children's groups could go there, and also the older groups too.
Yeah, thanks, Councillor Clark. So the engagement exercise that was done has now concluded, but in regards to species of trees, there is still opportunity to kind of look at that. So we can re-engage with citizens Somerset and the relevant people just to kind of have a look at the species of trees that are.
Yeah, it's one of the concerns I know the children had there was there's a lot of quite large bushy areas. They said that people hide in them and will jump out on the school children as they're walking through. So we don't want to add to that to long tall trees.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes, can I just quickly check as well about Leslie Avenue? Because when I was at engagement process at the library, I was talking to the chap, and I don't know if you've got a picture of Leslie Avenue.
Yeah, I'm just going to go to it now, actually, see if I can find it for you.
I just want to make sure this one has got through, because I discussed it with him and he said he's going to check. So make sure it might be worth going back to make sure. So check the Leslie Avenue. Because I noticed my bit of the consultation didn't come up on the screen. Yes, if you can zoom in. Bit more. Okay, okay. Yeah, so at the very top, he's got all those trees there and that kind of clump. But from that area there's a path leading around the back, which I believe is a fire exit from the back of all the houses there. I mentioned it to the person at the time. He said he's going to check with the fire brigade. Yes, so just around there. So there's a gate, and then it's just a little alleyway that goes to the back of the house, and I think that is for the fire brigade access in case they want to get to the back of the house, or people who just can't get out the front of the house, they have to go out the back of the house. And if you go plant some trees there, would it impede their fire exit? we make sure that. But you said you're going to check, and I'm going to check the file again to make sure it has been.
Right. So let me just check. So the tender is relating to delivering all the whole project, all of the trees, planting and the initial care and going and organising people to get involved, all of that. So the idea is this tender gone out for that, even though we don't know the outcome yet of the grant. Is that right?
Correct.
And how long will it be? Do you think Forestry Commission, does that give any indication of when they're likely to make it?
So the response that we have from Craig Daters, who's the Woodland Creation Officer at Ecology, he is expecting a response imminently. So definitely within 2 weeks for sure. But he did tell me that the Forestry Commission are quite slow. But yeah, he was expecting a response by now, so it is due imminently.
Councillor Strauss.
Yes, we did discuss at the previous session the question that they have to be properly maintained over the years, otherwise they die. Now, has any thought been given to which varieties are actually easier to maintain? That is the fact that if there was a choice, that would possibly influence the decisions.
So the tree species and recommendations have come from the Woodland Creation Officer. So he knows the conditions of the bid and the requirements that we are asking of our contractors. So I would have expected the Woodland Creation Officer to ensure that we have a successful implementation, that we would be choosing the right types of trees.
Well, I never assume anything
Yeah.
in these situations. Just making the point, we're responsible for the maintenance of the trees, are we not? Honestly, that's it.
So it will be the contractor that will be,
But we have to pay.
if there's a fault with it,
It
yes, then we
falls,
would.
it falls
Yeah.
down to the town council, to pay out the money for all of those trees being maintained.
Yes.
So we do have a vested interest.
Yeah, and for that, there will be reports that will be generated by the contractors, periodic site visits and inspections to ensure that actually they're doing everything they possibly can so that we minimise any risk to us as the town council.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we need this again or not?
I think we do. I don't know if you want to turn on the lights or, yeah, I believe we're maybe heading over to Laura Batch.
Yeah, we're talking together. So, yes, we need the lights on. We've got. Yeah, I'll leave this.
It's in the speech. They don't.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah, it's in 2 years. In 2 years.
Yeah.
It's 3.
Yeah.
3, yeah. Correct, yeah.
You able to share that's what that's.
Yeah.
Is that right? We have money set out on country.
Yeah, no problem.
You say recognition, say.
Sorry, are you wanting to speak?
Kind of a bit more appropriate. So I'm Patrick, community engagement officer in Salva.
Yeah, I've got it, yeah, I've got to, it would have been useful if
Yeah.
we, is this in connection with the urban, with this particular.
Yeah, yeah.
No time frame.
Time deadline in this room.
Yes, we do.
If they want to speak,
We've got a
Good.
large agenda.
Yeah.
What I would suggest is if you could submit all concerns for your,
That was all I was asking, if it was more appropriate to do that effectively, or just to.
yeah, if you then send it through to Craig. Thank you. Sorry, it's just obviously we've got.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you ready, Laura?
I'm ready.
You're ready.
Come to the ice cream.
Sorry, maybe next time, maybe next time.
So the talk together tonight. Thank you.
So, I also prepared some slides, and I'm just going to take you through. Oh, I apologise, the font isn't that great. But I suppose the key word is overview here. So, it's very, very hard to wrap up all the amazing stuff that's happening with this event in particular. So I'll read from the slides and give you the update, which is a very overview. It's an overview. So Taunton Together is a free event to showcase Taunton's diverse cultural arts and performance offer, bringing together a range of cultural stakeholders from across the town to activate key spaces to make our cultural offer accessible to all the community. It will include opportunities to engage through activities and to be inspired by performances that are curated by Taunton's cultural partners. The event will also bring together people to celebrate our town's diverse cultural heritage. It will be a way to foster unity, understanding and appreciation for our differences. Taunton Together aims to do just that by highlighting the richness of our town's ethnic communities and the importance of embracing cultural differences and diversity. Through this event, we will celebrate our traditions and customs of each community, but also bring the cultural partners together in the form of collaboration and mutual respect. By coming together, we will shine a light on Taunton's diverse community, strengthen friendships and relationships, and create a more inclusive and harmonious community where everyone feels valued and respected. It's time to celebrate Taunton, our differences and the beauty of the cultural diversity, all while promoting unity, togetherness in our town, Taunton Together. So with this event, the expected outcomes will be to enhance community spirit and participation, promote local culture and businesses, provide entertainment and engagement opportunities for all residents, and attract visitors and highlight all that Taunton has to offer. So we said that there were some areas that were being activated throughout Taunton. So we've got our colour-coded areas. So this includes Hammett Street and Taunton Minster, High Street and the Orchard Centre, Somerset Square, in brackets Brewhouse, and Somerset County Cricket Club, Goodlands Gardens and Castle Green. The event has been organised with input from various stakeholders, including local businesses, community groups and council members. So the steering group is made up of Kick, Go Create, our mayor, the people from the Arts and Culture Forum, Community Council for Somerset and Taunton Town Council. We also have area supervisors that are in charge of those key activated areas, and they are listed on the next page, and they all meet once a month. So again, going with this colour scheme, you can see we have the High Sheriff and Taunton Minster in Hammett Street and Taunton Minster. We have the Brewhouse and Somerset County Cricket Club. We have Taunton Independent Market in Castle Green. We have Arts Taunton / Hiker and the Orchard Shopping Centre. That's supposed to be in orange at High Street. And Go Create in Goodland Gardens. Collaboration and engagement. Liaising with local businesses and ensuring that they can benefit from the event and raise awareness of their own businesses, highlighting Taunton as a hotspot and a key destination. Ensuring that the arts and culture community are highlighted and showcased to observe the mass talent in the area, but also showcase the opportunity for engagement within the community. We'll look at engaging and communicating with key contacts in diverse communities to explore opportunities to raise awareness and celebrate culture, ensuring creative collaboration. And we'll make sure that where possible, a sustainable approach has been taken and inclusivity is given priority for the event, ensuring culture is accessible for the whole community. And listed on here, we have our map. I'm sorry, it's not very good quality on the screen, but we have our event map. So we can see all those key areas that are activated and colour coded, and you can just see that there's a plethora of different opportunities for people to engage in many different activities taking place. We have our Taunton Together Festival poster, And we also have our schedule of performances. And this last poster, the third one on the screen, is purely just performances taking place. This does not cover the whole of all the activities that are actually taking place. So that's our performance schedule. So an update with regards to the brochure, that's done, that's released. Hopefully you've all had your copies and been promoting that and placing them where possible in the community. We have our website taunted together. Our poster, which you can see, is complete. We have our premise license, which is approved, and that's a very key thing for this event because it also nods to future events taking place because we'll have that ongoing. And our schedule and event map, sorry, it says in progress, but they're actually completed today. So as the chair said, things move very quickly, so they are done. Opportunities for enhancement. So where we've been managing and kind of keeping an eye on the budget, we're also making sure that we're really pushing through themes for this year. So this year was decided that the river theme was very prominent and will be carried over into next year. But at this point, we would like to review the budget, and we are reviewing the budget to include street entertainment actually as a river theme to kind of bring that together and make it more cohesive. We have hired a videographer and in the process of doing the same with a photographer to make sure that we can capture those key moments for future promotion and evaluation. Event signage just to make it clear to everyone attending and not just assuming it's residents that are coming and know the town, it's for all those visitors as well. And event information interpreters. So we have secured interpreters for the day that will be there for our lovely mayor's opening of the event, but also available throughout the event to give information and to also support with our community review to make that more accessible to people. Course wellbeing evaluation, and we'll mark this with metrics of numbers attended, community feedback and social media engagement. Like I said, it will be done via a survey, and we've also got our steering group feedback session and our area supervisor feedback sessions. And that'll be really key in looking and reviewing what went well, what worked, what didn't, so then we can carry all the goodness into the next year and make it even bigger and better. And in conclusion, I just wanted to draw attention to the fact that just from this one event, we are covering so many of our corporate strategy values and also the arts and culture strategy values. If not completely, there are certainly nods on other areas where we've started to implement that. And for next year's event, it will be so much easier once we've reviewed the feedback and see what's important to people to make that even more prominent throughout the whole event. So, yeah, obviously I've spoken a little bit about 2025. There will be plans to come back next year and after review, think about the best way that we can carry this forward to make it even bigger and better. And I also just wanted to note that this presentation has provided a very brief overview of all the fabulous work that's taking place with our stakeholders and our community groups. Obviously, when there is a full report, it will highlight fully the impact and engagement that has taken place with all the diverse members of the community to make sure that we've really highlighted all the different areas that this event has targeted. And that's that.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Well, fabulous. Well done.
Yeah, sorry, you couldn't tell that was my first time presenting, so thank you for listening.
Even more well done. We need more of these on these. It's a brilliant idea. So, quiz questions. I'll just go from Councillor Thompson.
Yes, I just want to say thank you to Polly and Laura, have done a fantastic job in holding it all together, bringing it all together, making it happen. Really, it was a big ask, and I think you've done a fantastic job. People are very, very excited, and I think people have already approached me also for next year with plans. They're already they've got plans for next year. Lots of people, and also a big request from the schools to be involved. You know, so that's the other thing for next year, please.
Absolutely. Sorry, yes.
There are some schools, like I said, this was just an overview, but there are some schools involved at academy. There is only two, they do work as an academy and they are involved. And I definitely agree with the notion of getting more of the schools involved and having longevity with some projects to kind of then showcase at the end of it. So I absolutely.
They want it to be.
Yeah, lovely.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. Councillor Ellis.
Oh, yeah, no, just to echo what Vanessa said, really, well done, and I think the partners are working incredibly hard, and they're very experienced people, they totally know what they're doing, and so far, the weather looks not too shabby on Saturday, so I'm really hoping that, I think it will be humming and buzzing. Yeah, and I hope partners have time to recover all this from
Captain Strauss.
Thank you, Chair. Please don't take this as a criticism, it's purely an observation. There was a comment on Facebook, which I can relate to. It does clash with the Wellington Carnival. All I ask is that next year, if it could be possible that any big events locally, we can avoid the plan. It will give more support. Because there's somebody from Wellington who wanted to come, but they've got a bit of art in that.
Thank you.
And just to respond to that, I know when we were debating quite a lot as a steering group member about the preferred dates, and anything kind of earlier in the summer would have a significant impact on the local tournament events. It is quite difficult to navigate.
And that's what I said. It's not a criticism.
Yeah.
Because there's been a tremendous job done this year. Please don't think otherwise. It's purely the fact that, you know, I'm going to Wellington to represent the town because obviously Vanessa's involved here. And Nick's coming with me.
So I think Martin's just moved because he can't be here.
Well, most of us doing it there.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Oh, sorry.
I thought well, yeah, but hardly, maybe the bulk of it is 11 till 7. So,
In that case, I would draw that. It's just somebody commenting.
yeah, we both, yeah, that's what we're waiting to do. Well, you've got that.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. Just a few, can I just say, only a month ago, one of my local residents emailed me saying, why isn't Taunton putting on a big event? We need a big event in Taunton. And I emailed him back and says, you're referring to Taunton Together. He goes, what's that? So I sent him the motion just coming out. Oh, good. So that was a very satisfied resident within 5 minutes. But I was at Arts Taunton and at the beginning of September, when we had all that rain. I said, what is it in September? And I said, oh, hopefully September's the choice. It's usually yes, but it was last time. There was because Taika, for next year, whether we consider moving Taika back to the brew house area where they do their performance. I think they're happy, you know, they're going ahead with it in the high street, but they feel it's a little bit cramped for them and wonder whether you could next year pretend, you know, just consider moving them back to the brew house area because they've got more space they can spread out.
Yeah, I shouldn't have.
Yeah, because they can. So I think they're finding the space a bit constraining, and in terms of they put on a performance and they're wondering where the audience is standing, where it's going to get. So it's just a consideration whether next year consider being back, moving them, and then it perhaps use the greenhouse.
So with that, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We will move on.
And don't forget the launch on Friday evening.
I'll be there. I'm there. So I think this is you again, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Friarswood Park Fun Fair.
Oh yes. Oh, is this not you?
It's all right. What are you doing that? Well, you can fight it out among yourselves.
Or did you pass it on that? I'll take it.
Yeah, I don't mind introducing the report, and then Laura, if you wanted to go through some of the survey feedback, do you want to do a?
Yes, I do. I don't know if I have access to the survey feedback, do I?
If you've got access to the report, I can do the survey. What do you have access to?
I do have access to the report, so I've got some notes in the report, so that's absolutely fine. To the way around.
Okay.
Thank you. So, over to Laura and Craig.
So, with regards to the report, so the review was to look at the fun fair, so the Private Park Fun Fair, and review its impact on our community. And basically, we're asking you to review the findings of the event survey. Craig will assist us in having a closer look at the survey results in a minute. But the survey reflects both the positive feedback and some areas that need attention. So noise levels and cleanliness were generally well managed, and that was fed back not just by the CEAT survey, but when we met with the resident face to face. There were notable concerns about traffic, parking, and some antisocial behaviour. But addressing these issues can be quite easily done if we were to proceed with this type of activity at the park. So I think it's something more to be aware of and consult with residents about rather than to do that. The environmental considerations are also there. So I think we need to consider that with the fair owner, he uses specific generators, and I think that's a positive step in looking at the ecological impact of having them come. He was very considerate about positionings with certain things, and once there was that communication with residents, he was very quick in acting upon any concerns. So when we're looking at considering the suitability of Private Park for future fun fairs, I think we need to keep in mind that the broader impact that it has on the wider community, not just the specific neighbouring residents, and look at how that can actually feed into the larger aspects of the corporate plan. So when we're looking at the wider impact that it has on the community, not just specifically the residents.
So on the report agenda, there is an appendix of the survey, and if you haven't already seen it, I'll just share my screen. I'm just conscious my projector may switch itself off, but it's got 6%, fingers crossed it will not. Let's just whiz through this and see what we can do. Oh, thank you, thank you. Hey, perfect, lovely. This was a survey that was produced, and the QR code for the survey was added, which was then dropped through the resident's property. So what we've got here is some high-level feedback. There is an Excel spreadsheet which does go into more specific detail for those that have left comments, but this just gives you a nice overview as to how it was received. So the first question was, how would you rate the economic impact of the event on the local community? Sorry, because it's making one of it. Sorry, Laura. Yeah, it's got a little Oh, sorry. It's worth doing. It's worth doing.
You need to read an optician.
Thank you. So as you can see here, so in terms of economic impact, 5 people said it was positive, 8 people said it was pretty neutral, 6 negative. Obviously, within the Private Park area, I guess there's not a huge number of businesses there, but number 2, did you notice an increase in business activity? So I think that's pretty self-explanatory.
Yes, no local businesses in this area.
Yeah. But what we were hoping is that actually producing an event survey means actually we can roll this survey out to any other event across the town. So we wanted to capture that economic activity where possible. So how would you describe the social impact of the event on the community? So we've had 4 responses that said they felt like it strengthened the community. No change, so 6 people. It caused division by 7, and 2 people made reference to other. So I'm saying 2 people, 10 people, 4 people. I don't know if that's actually a percentage or whether that's actually
I
responses.
think that's actual response.
Sure, so
Yeah.
it says 9 responses.
Okay, yeah, thank you. And I think this is also evident that actually those that received the leaflet drop through the doors, there would be more than not happening in the qualities. So for those that haven't responded through the survey, you can take that as perhaps it didn't impact them in a way that they felt inclined enough to respond to the survey. So did the event provide opportunities for you to meet new people or reconnect with your neighbours? 5 people said yes, it did provide an opportunity for them to connect with their neighbours. 10 said no, and 4 said others. How would you rate the environmental impact of the event? Positive, neutral, and negative. So 3 of them said positive, 9 said neutral, and 7 said other. Did you notice any changes in the cleanliness of the area during the event? So 3 people said yes, 12 people said no, and 4 people had other opinions. So as I mentioned, there is some responses that were kind of written, and there is an Excel document on the agenda item. So if you wanted to have a little closer look at what people were saying, you can have a look at that spreadsheet. How well informed did you feel about the event before it happened? 4 people said very well informed. Somewhat informed said 3, not informed said 8, and 4 others. So what methods did you find most effective for receiving information about the event? So social media was 3, emails 1, flyers 6, community meetings 0, and 9 for others. And how would you prefer to be informed about future events? Most people have said flyers through the door. They thought that was actually most effective, with social media coming up second, and other was also another popular choice, but what that might be.
Personal visit.
Maybe. I know there was great appreciation for actually meeting officers in person. That on-site meeting was well received. So if you have any suggestions for improving communication, so again, leaflets being delivered through the door well in advance was something that is preferred. And just regarding the overall management planning of the event, so 6 people said actually the management of the event was excellent. 1 said good, 5 said fair, 6 said poor, and 2 said other. And what aspects of the event planning and management did you find most effective? So this was kind of like a text. So the text response. So kept on top of the parking issues. Some people saying we don't want it. Very little, said another person. And what aspect of the event planning management did you think needed improvement? And the big key thing there in that word cloud was around communication. Do you have any specific suggestions on how future events could be better organised and executed? To be more informed, better communication, and well in advance of the event taking place. In terms of inclusivity, how inclusive did you find the event? Actually very inclusive. Lots of variety of different people were there enjoying the event. And 5 people responded saying not particularly inclusive. So how did you feel the event represented the diversity in the community? 6 people said yes, 7 people said no regarding representation of the community. Only more questions are there? Okay, we're nearly done. So how can we ensure that future events are more inclusive and representative? So with regards to those that responded, there was a response there to say this question is irrelevant, we don't want it, contact the residents prior to the event. And what was the overall impression of the event? Well, 6 people said actually it was positive, 3 said neutral, and 8 responded with negative. And what did you enjoy most about the event? When it finished, the day they left.
I honestly loved it.
Yeah. So what did you least enjoy about the event? So they've highlighted there things like traffic disruption, the road traffic, the fair rides, the fact that it was close to residential roads, and the disruption that it caused. And generally, any other comments or suggestions for future events? You know, to not hold it at this bill if we don't want it. Sustainability of location for the event, parking and traffic management, assessing. So I think some of the earlier responses were more negative than what you may be seeing there. I think that the quotes that were added there were from the last few responses that came through. But the more detailed responses can be seen from the Excel spreadsheet that's part of the agenda item.
Thank you. Oh, sorry, and I also just wanted to highlight to the committee is that we can't control how many times one individual provides a response. So if there was one or two residents that were particularly unhappy, they had the freedom to submit multiple responses. I'm not saying that's definitely what happened, but from talking directly to residents, there were some people that were just out and out, we don't want anything, they use it like their back garden and I can step back because that's what they're used to. But there are other people that initially were very against the fair, and after dealing with this particular fair organiser, was like, actually, he did everything he said he would. So I just wanted to make sure there was that balance and understanding of how the survey worked and what was reported back to us.
Councillor Clark.
I was just going to ask whether you had any controls over that. Unfortunately, obviously you can add that into surveys, but yeah, my thoughts over that whole event. Obviously, there were some concerned residents which did live just on the road opposite the park, which you can understand. Communication, I think we did let them down with that. I think that can definitely be better if it's decided to go ahead again. But overall, my personal feeling is it went very well. They really included the community. They invited local schools one afternoon to come down, complete free, had rides, escaping candy floss. So yeah, for North Taunton, I think it was a really good event. Like you said in the report, environmentally, they use all Euro 6 generators, which are pretty clean. Probably about the best you can get for a travelling fair, which somebody's house to use theirs. Yeah, and it's an event for the local people of North Taunton where we don't really get a huge amount over that side of Taunton, especially aimed at children, which is what it was. And yeah, that's all rather well from what I saw.
Lauren, did you want to come back on that?
Yes, I just wanted to reiterate and back up what Councillor Clark has said with regards to the schools that were invited. In particular, these were 7 schools in the local area. So the event organiser put on a bespoke session for them to come to. So we're delving into the inclusivity and the impact that it had on the wider community also.
That's what I want.
Yes, so I have to say, when I read this report and into the statistics, I was a bit confused really, because the last time we had a meeting, it seemed a very positive outcome, and that actually they had been engaging and that the local residents had liked it. And I even reported that back to the council last time, and that actually we are thinking of using it again at the site. So I was a bit confused by these, and I was going to ask, I take it all this survey was online, was it? They could just, so I'm just wondering, I mean, 14. Up to 90 responses out of how many potential people could have responded.
How many leaflets did we have printed?
Asking you because we had a design. I'm going to commit to, I think, 200 because we wanted to ensure that not just the direct residents, but the ones that are clapped on, and there's also a lot of flats there.
So we could be just getting responses from people who were unhappy.
Yeah. There was social media content that was kind of taken into account as part of the previous reports, which actually was positive. There was lots of positivity around that as well. So it was just.
So I think
I think quite often the voices that are disappointed or don't like it are often louder than the people that did actually have a good time and think, oh, actually, so thank you. Thank you. So we were just asked to consider the event. So we've noted it and considered it, and it will prove very valuable and be useful for when we get approached.
Yes.
For future dates. Thank you very much. So. Sure. So we've got three things to think about with this one. We need to consider the recommendation of the Task and Finish Group, to approve the recommendation of Pop-Up Shop Task and Finish Group to pause the project whilst conversations continue with Somerset Council on the evolution, and to consider the recommendation to members of Council. So what I suggest is we look at the whole three of them together when we come to look at to vote on that. So I believe this is yours, Rick.
Yes, thank you, Chair. So back in November 2023, full council approved the pop-up shop initiative pending initiation of a public consultation and the formation of the Task and Finish Group. So since establishing the Task and Finish Group, numerous units have been evaluated for their suitability, and recently 2 units were evaluated as part of that initiative. One was located in St James's Street and the other within the Orchard Shopping Centre. The units were discussed at great length by the Task and Finish Group, but also in the mix with other wider conversations regarding devolution with Somerset Council and priorities. So it was recommended that the Town Council prioritises other time-sensitive financial decisions with regards to Somerset Council's emergency and devolution conversations. Consequently, the Task and Finish Group recommends to place this initiative on hold whilst other financial matters are addressed. So the Task and Finish Group will continue to hold regular 6-weekly meetings to assess the market opportunities, and this will enable us to proceed with any recommending a suitable lease that meets our pop-up shop requirements. So with regards to this decision, there's no climate or ecological implications. Regarding the financial implications of this decision, so the council does have a designated budget of £50,000 for economic development. This amount could continue to be used to support various economic activities and possible revenue to support the £25,000 income target from 24-25. Just to touch on the risk assessment, so I guess there is a reputational risk that delaying this project may cause public misunderstanding regarding the reasons for the postponement. Thus, to mitigate this risk, it is crucial to clearly communicate the rationale for not moving forward with the pop-up shop at this time. The pop-up shop initiative was also designed to aid local charities, specifically the Royal British Legion and their Poppy Hill. However, following the service level agreement between the visitor centre and us, the Poppy Hill could be located and hosted within the tourist office for 24, 25 and 25, 26 following the full council decision. With regard to the timescale, in order to continue discussions with Somerset Council about devolved services and assets, it is advisable to pause the pop-up shop initiative temporarily. It is anticipated that the discussions will conclude early next year, which would enable the Town Council to then proceed with the pop-up shop project, if not before. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you very much. Any questions? I think it's a wise decision. And I think, for me, I'm happy that the Poppy Wheel has got sealed. Because I think that's one of the main things to get the, for the pop-up shops actually, so that the, they can actually sell the poppies for each year. So I'm quite relieved with that particular thing. And I think it's a wise decision because then obviously we're not actually shutting the door. We're actually saying we're just pausing it for now, and then we can revisit it today. Councillor Ellis.
Yeah, actually, I mean, I know where I am. I've got no issue with it, but I do look back on that decision. I think it was a dumb decision. We could have had it up and running by now, and we would have had some learning from it. And I think if you put something in a manifesto and then you've got an actual proposal in front of you, and there's the money there to do it, it's a concrete thing. You should. Sorry, I'm just still thoughts about that because we could have had a pop-up. Mind you, other things have popped up. I mean, in the orchard, like the fabulous new orchard art gallery, which is amazing, absolutely amazing. So maybe the orchard centre is being very proactive in it, enabling popping up. We need more popping up. We need people to be able to sort of, test the ground or do things for a short period of time. So I do think it's hope. I agree that there's a lot of things up in the air, like, so I want a share shop. I'm more fussed about the share shop. It's slightly different things, but maybe there is some synergy. I don't know. So, you know, let's look forward. And I know people are very busy. So I'm not, you know.
Thank you. So we've considered the recommendation. We now need to approve the recommendation to pause the project and also to consider the recommendation to the members for council. So as a whole, to consider it all as a whole. So can I have a proposer? Councillor Strauss, second. All those in favour that we call.
Yeah.
Sure. That cause it goes to things like that. I think that's carried. Thank you very much. Thank you. Ollie. Oh, it's your turn. So, youth council, the youth council. We are being asked to consider Taunton Town Council creating a youth programme with the aim of engaging with young people in the council's decision-making process. We are also asked to consider the options provided in the report for Taunton Town Council's youth programme and choose one which the committee would prefer the officers to create an initiative for, and also to consider and support the recommendation to take a finalised plan for the youth programme to the council. Over to you, thank you.
Thank you, Chair. So for me, clearly the project assessment and Megan, the project officer, spent about 2 months researching sort of youth councils and youth programmes across the UK. We've been in contact with 15, we've had emails from 13, had 2 meetings with Durham Youth Council and a representative from Diss Town Council. So, shall I go through the options as they are?
Yes, I mean, if you want to just give us, I mean, obviously everybody's read the report from Ollie, I guess you've got the background to all of the fantastic work that has been carried out so far. So yeah, I think it would be useful to go through each option.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
thank you.
the first option we looked into was a traditional youth council, which would essentially be a copy of our full council. So it's a committee and that leads up to the full council, but also has powers to make its own decisions. This would be a form group with membership for a set amount of time. Possibility of elections, so which, yeah. The youth council can both discuss their own initiatives and also to an extent scrutinise those that are being carried out by the full council or the committees. Strength of this is that it provides an opportunity for young people to get an experience for the town council, as like. The weakness is that this formality may discourage some young people, especially those from maybe less advantaged groups because of formality and similarity to schools. Opportunities, it allows councils to incorporate the views of young people when making decisions. And the threats is that nature's committing fixed terms is again undesirable. The second option we've got is a youth advisory board, which is more informal group with sort of ad hoc meetings and no set membership numbers. The board decides what they want to implement and work within the agreed parameters to this, supported by the councillors. The board can also advise community groups, interested interests and other partners. We've seen this happened in this town council and in other councils they've had like a youth ambassador on interview panels and such. Quite a good idea. The strength of this is that informal approach more likely attracts more diverse range of young people. The weakness is that it doesn't provide true reflection of art and council or council how it works. Opportunity is that the advisory board to be able to work with our partners, providing insight on their projects, so the police, anti-combat, and social behaviour, and the NHS, sort of issues to do with mental health and aspects like that. The threats are that despite the informal approach, the youth advisory boards should definitely have a first term outline, just so that the young ambassadors don't absolutely sort of know you can't do that because that will be very discouraging. But there's a lot of sort of disinterest. We're also open to other options, so we could work with pre-existing groups in Taunton and sort of possibly create the youth forum, we were sort of using the work they've already carried out to get their opinions and feedback into future decisions. In regards to the corporate plan, this supports our idea of a prosperous town as considering the use of young people for the consultation, we'll be able to invest in improvements that will directly improve them straight from their consultation. Have a sustainable environment because many youth countries across the country discuss climate issues. And part of the youth council they create sort of a regional conference where young people from across South Wales get together to discuss climate issues, and that's a big idea, but it's just not helpful. Engage community through active engagement with people, we expect to identify what key priorities are and providing culture as the different thing provided for accountability by this class and culture strategy. So as discussed above, the climate implications, there aren't really direct implications, but some people are maybe able to feed into our own climate and Russian plan. And also with financial implications, at this stage, no money is being committed. But we hope in the future that they could possibly be their own part for the youth programme to create their own decisions. But any cost to support the youth programme will adhere to our financial regulations. But there will be sort of a human resource implication with setting this programme of both commissions and officers. In terms of risks, if the scheme is not successful because there isn't any interest, it could have a reputational risk. But to mitigate this, we aim to run the engagement exercise to understand whether there is appetite for this before going all in with it. Another risk we found for our research is that young people can become disengaged, and this is often because of not having a stable face or a staff member or counsellors. So we need to mitigate this, we need to ensure that counsellors and staff who want to engage with the youth programme are fully on board with this and understand the time commitment this will take up. So after this, our next steps is to gather your feedback and to allow that to mould our next decisions and our blueprint. We'll be working with comms and the engagement team to create a plan of how to reach young people. And additionally, they're getting us and running a survey of polls to discover whether there is interest, and also to identify key counsellors who'd like to be invited to see young people and help mentor them through sort of the function of the meetings and what they're able to impact on. And additionally, we need to discuss with the finance team just to ensure we have suitable insurance to cover council and officers working face to face with young people, as well as other financial implications. But yeah, the above will be done in view of taking a refined plan to full council in November. If there are any questions, I'll get to answer.
Thank you, that's great. Thank you very much. So, councillor Parkland.
Yes, I think this is a great idea. I think it's something we need in Taunton to get young people involved. It's something like this would be just wonderful for Taunton and like we were saying earlier about not being listened to. I think especially young people, you say anything to do with politics, and most people are, it's not bothered by it at all. Where can get people in school age children to help with decision making and bits like that. It's I think we've got to do it. Which way of doing it, I'm not sure. I like the idea of replicating the council because then it's as real as possible. But like you say, there is the danger of it. In some of our meetings do drag on rather sometimes. It's but I would lean more towards that way. To just replicate what we do and to be able to give a real good insight to a lot of young people.
I really strongly support this. It was a manifesto commitment. It was also a manifesto commitment in 2019 in the manifesto for SWT, which everyone quickly forgot about. So this is like an outstanding thing, and it's been, it's been around, knocking around for a while, as I did. So I'm very keen that you guys, you seem like you've got, you and Tilly working together really well. I'm very keen that you pursue this. I kind of think it would better start off with something that you can develop, so like an advisory board, on the basis that we will blooming well listen, and then see how that evolves, and then let them decide if they want, young people. No, we want something more like full council where we make decisions. I definitely think we need to look at the whole budget for youth services, and I slightly lost the plot. So we've had the 3-year grant programme. There will be things that need to be funded next year that aren't being funded now. Within that, I think we have to look at if there is a youth board set up and stuff, that actually they should have an input into how all money is spent. I think that's absolutely essential. I can see this being amazing. I think we may need to bring in sort of people who do youth workers who've worked a lot around the area and work with them. There are quite a few really good people knocking around, but I'm so glad that you guys are leading on this. I think because you've got young officers with clearly a passion, I think this could be really good. So I think just absolutely all power to your elbow. Of course, engagement isn't just that. It's like it's good when we do the stalls. Most of the people I talk to are Suston kids and young people, and I think I think everyone is the same. Really, we see them. Their views matter as much as the grown-ups. Kids in some cases. So we're absolutely right behind you.
And Ollie's waving at me from the corner. We are at 2 hours.
Just a vote to extend the time for
Yes, so are we happy to extend for an extra half an hour? We're going to have a vote. Oh, yes.
Yes.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Thank you. Was that just for the time bit, Ollie, or did you want to come back to Councillor Ellis?
Yeah, so I agree that my personal view is that with these two options, an advisory board, which can sort of be morphed into certain things a bit more attractive for young people compared to a more strict youth council. And I think it's because it can be morphed into its own thing, we can sort of balance sort of the human resources we need to go into it as well. Because with a committed youthful council, it means something like quarter or something, or bi-monthly, that would take up a lot of officer resource and council time, which is fine. But yeah, I agree with this.
It's like if you came back to us then, so maybe year in something, say, oh no, they want to go to this now, that's fine, but I think to start with.
That's for strength.
I'd just like to make 2 points. The first one is I had the privilege of being invited by Councillor O'Donnell earlier this year to chair a replica of the United Nations. And I know Nick have been involved with this a number of years. And it was fascinating. I mean, these kids were really good and were able to present themselves well. And I'm firmly in favour of this one. Personally, I like formality and tradition and everything else. And I'm very well aware of all the organisations I'm involved in. The younger people, they're not formal. So I like the idea of a two-stage approach. Let's get them involved. Let's start with the wider parameters and then get them interested and then make it much more like the council actually operates. But I'm 100% behind this. I think it's really good. And I think we have a staggering response. This is my own view. I think a lot of the schools would be very interested in supporting some of this. Thank you, Nick, for all the work we've done over the years with the United Nations, I think.
Well, I was at Hewish for 5 hours this morning to sign up 54 students to their politics. So, yes, I'll take it. But I would advise caution in going to November for council. I think that's still a bit, so perhaps you can just push that part now. I think the format A, I was going to ask how many of those councils you approached did option A?
Oh, well, it's been quite a mix really. So Durham Council, who's sort of the first respondent for us to speak to, they do a more strict council setup, and it does honestly vary. There's no real sort of,
Because I think having worked with young people, their lives change from one year to the next, and having something formal like a full council, so we voted them on, it's only for a year, so I'm trying to work with each year. I would go down the more advisable, but I would want to draw your attention, and I think we need to talk to Citizens Somerset, because they have been in existence for many years and are pretty much doing this already around Somerset. They are already engaged in every school. And myself certainly haven't we? So Lingford, wasn't it? So they organised Lingford Primary and was it St James's? Next to Victoria Park. Yes. So I mean, back in February, myself and Tom Deacon and got called in to listen to kids. They've done a lot of research about how they can make their play parks better and safer. And they came up with 5 action plans that they wanted us to do. And I'm shockingly have to say, I think we've done 1 or 2 of them. I think we managed to change the lights. I think we managed to, but the rest of it we just got stuck because. But so Citizens Somerset, I've always knew it's Citizens UK. They're already there. I think if we engage with them, I think we'll find they're already doing all this that you want, and perhaps if we have a much more collaborative working with them, and it might cost us a bit.
They managed to do the great thing in Bristol, didn't they?
Yeah, I mean, we're having young people involved with questions of what they want to see happen. That's it. They challenge the PCC candidates. They're very good at that. So so I'll hold off for the moment. I can come and help you with this because I've worked with them before. And let's see what some Citizens Somerset are doing already, because I think we'll find that they're already doing this and they're really happy because they're working in every primary school. They're with, I think they're with King's and also Remington School, but Caulfield, so they're already working in state schools, some of our private schools as well. Queen sadly pulled out for some reason. There is a cost. So all these organisations, and it's not just schools they're working with, they're also working with churches and other, but primarily other schools. There is a cost associated to them. They have to buy into this, but that as a council, we are prepared to spend billions on things. But they are engaging, and we can re-engage and become part of that community. You might be accessing something to explore.
And I think Ollie's coming to the young people working group, he has taught LCM on the 30th, so he'll be able to talk to youth organisations like in Somerset who come to these meetings, so you start that networking process of tapping in to those organisations that are doing that work, and from that we can sort of possibly go down with that advisory group. So I think it's brilliant what you've done, you know, what's been set up so far. But I think I agree with Councillor Donald, it's just a bit further to go before it comes to full council.
I think Somerset Citizens if you start talking to them, they'll actually be able to advise us, you know, if they don't want to do it, then they have to advise us on how we can approach it ourselves. So give us a lot of advice on that.
Did you mention young Somerset?
I did.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Because my proposal is for their charity next year is actually part of Young Somerset, so all this fits.
So it's all fit, so lots more work for you. Karen, did you want to?
No, I was just gonna say, I thought all the citizen subset stuff is great, but it's like it's not a substitute for what you
No,
use council, is it? It's just great, you need lots of different forms of engagement.
Yeah.
But critical is, explaining to them, going back to them, if you've actually had an ask and saying, we can't do that because of subset council. That's within our power, and so that, and I think the youth council will keep us more on our toes as well. I think if we all work really well together, you need the whole thing. You need to enhance young people's input in many ways, don't we?
so they might be the first program that gives us the ideas and inspiration and actually helps us develop it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. So you've got overall support from all here. Well done. Thank you. So I think moving on, I think we've got,
What do we need to vote?
do we, I don't think we need to vote, do we? Do we need to vote? Because I think we were considering, was there a recommendation?
And support the recommendation to take a finalising and goes
Okay. Because you're going, the recommendations for the candidacy, then I don't think it was necessary.
I just say well done, my ladies, this is good work.
Your ears will be burning now. Moving on to item 15, which is the CCTV camera upgrades. So we are going to consider to recommend full council to approve the use of the £53,635 in an earmark reserve for subsidising CCTV in 2024-25. To commission Somerset Council to upgrade circa 10 cameras identified, with the final detail on the chosen quotation to be delegated to the clerk in conjunction with the Somerset Council CCTV service and in line with the service level agreement. And I think that's over to you, Tom.
Yeah. That's it there. Thanks, Marcus.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been a bit of a double act really between us in terms of working with the CCTV service. But thank you, great. Yeah, as you know, obviously the council earlier in the year agreed to save the provision of the CCTV service by subsidising it, following requests made by Somerset Council due to their financial emergency. There were a negotiation led by the clerk. Obviously the costs initially came in at 167,000 for that subsidy a year. And there was some negotiation because a lot of those cameras covered car parks, which are Somerset Council assets, which generate an income for that council. So they were removed, which was great to see. But obviously this council had earmarked the funds already for that purpose. So in discussions, it was felt that perhaps we could use some of that funding to upgrade some of the cameras because, as you'll see from the appendice, a number of them were installed a number of years ago. I think 26 of the 38 on our SLA list are analog, which don't provide the best in terms of quality of image. So in terms of, as you'll see in the report, we've had conversations, I think, raised by the police service around some of the concerns around particular cameras. So we raised with the CCTV service that the antisocial behaviour roundtable has been discussed earlier, Castle Green, and the cameras are there are analog. So I've included in the report the analysis from the CCTV officer once we've gone to that service and said we definitely want to upgrade Castle Green. There's lots of issues there which they agreed with. The SLA, as it says in section 2, says that if you want new cameras, upgrades to cameras in your parish area, this will need to be done in consultation with the client, but paid for by the town or parish council. Part 7 of the SLA states that the CCTV equipment identified shall remain in the ownership of Somerset Council, but I think we have pressed them on this and said that we would definitely at least seek confirmation that they would never be moved outside of our parish area. So I think we've had to adjust the budget slightly because the earmarked reserve wasn't as large as we thought. I think some of the funding has been used for the prize wish library funding, which so it's 9 cameras I think on the list. So we took out one that was for Castle Street on the original report, which covers the car park anyway. So the locations are Castle Green, on High Street, Sunset Square, East Reach and Bath Place, and a number of the costs outlined. Obviously, it supports our corporate plan around antisocial behaviour, which specifically mentions upgrading CCTV. As this is repurposing an earmarked reserve, it does have to go on to full council if we wish to serve this in line with our financial regs. So I think, Chair, obviously,
Councillor Strauss.
Yes, can I just clarify, please, Marcus? Are you saying we're paying for it all, but it still remains Somerset Council property once again, is that correct?
that's as I understand it, yes, but we are pressing for the.
I'm saying, once again, we pay it 100% and they keep the asset. It's wrong. I'm sorry, I'd like that minuted, please.
Craig.
Yeah, so just to add, so we are subsidising the service that is provided by Somerset Council, as well as obviously we're paying to upgrade the equipment, but the costs also are in line with Somerset Council providing that CCTV service. So monitoring of the cameras
I'm with you.
and reminder.
But if we're actually paying for a new camera, that should be our property.
If we pay for a new camera,
Well, we're talking about upgrading or something.
switching from analog to digital. I don't think necessarily involves new cameras necessarily, just the connectivity.
Oh, all right. Thank you for
I can
that.
get some further clarification on that.
Yeah.
Any more questions on that? Or shall we go to the vote?
Can we, what was the actual, is it to agree to this now? So I'd rather wait to clarify the camera. So I can't see that we would pay for a camera and give it to Somerset Council.
Absolutely.
That's, I couldn't agree to that. That's, we need better CCTV, yes. But if we're going to put a digital camera in, and then Somerset Council in 2 years' time turn around and say, oh, we're ending the agreement, all the cameras are ours.
Absolutely.
I don't know, I can't agree with that. That's not right.
Thank you, Chair. I think you could amend the resolution to say that you recommend it to full council subject to the ownership of these cameras being confirmed that they would be in the Taunton Town Council's possession should the SLA agreement cease.
So can we change that wording?
So second start,
Gillian.
what do we do with those 10 cameras once we owned them and they took away the service agreement? And I mean, would we be able to sell them on? Would they just be sitting idly in the cupboard somewhere?
We did discuss taking over the service ourselves.
Yeah. Well, I think the whole service was linked into the whole Somerset.
Well, I thought when we were presented, we could have had, am I right, Marcus, that we could have just had those which lay within Taunton under our direct control with our own service centre? We did discuss this. It's possible.
My understanding was that there would have been no way for, I think Somerset Council was seeking to cease the service sort of imminently when they presented to us in February. I don't think, I'm not sure how we would have extracted that and set up a whole new service just bespoke for Taunton. It would, don't think I was ever seriously.
I thought it was an option.
I think the option was for us to pay our share.
Mm.
And every other town. in
No,
Wales
there was a counter proposal, but
There was, I remember someone wrote in and said,
yes.
do you realise you could have a much cheaper option? That if you do it yourselves.
Absolutely.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
you have to be careful here.
I don't know if, sorry, Jen, I don't know if that was obviously a submission made by a member of the public, but I wasn't ever clear that Somerset Council ever, what would have happened in terms of, I don't think we ever got to that stage where it would have been
I thought
extra
it's
cases.
counting that
Yeah, I
recommendation.
have a whole debate on this.
Yeah.
The last one,
Yes,
so
we did.
did you do? This generally positive. We've managed to save some money.
Yes.
Because we recognised that we basically said to them, oi, they're in your car parks, you'll pay. And so that's great. And now we've got dicky ones and we want to upgrade for the benefit of the community water.
Yeah.
So we're paying for the upgrade. So that's broadly positive because it's not costing us any extra because we save money. We're spending exactly what we said we were to do. And we can't have any money to the service. And this will result in better service and better security and better deterrent. So kind of on that level, it's a no-brainer, isn't it? Should we be focusing around the ownership of the cameras? I mean, I think, you know, do that amendment, fine. I just like, I'm sure we had a big discussion.
Committed to a 3-year SLA with the CCTV reserve, so as far as this isn't something that's likely to come back in-house for a number of years, just yet.
Yes, and then once it comes back in-house, then we can look at
Yes.
other options
Okay.
at that point.
I'm happy with that, as long as our long-term interests are safeguarded. Happy.
So do we not need to make the amendment then to the recommendation, because we were going to.
It might still be a good idea just to clarify
Yes,
Yeah.
the actual ownership, so in the future, there wouldn't be any.
I think the agreement should be crystal clear. You don't want to be clear.
So we're not replacing the
No.
camera, no, we're just upgrading. Same ground
Yeah, we're
cameras.
upgrading.
That means a new camera, surely.
Yeah, but it's in the analog, the digital when it's something completely.
Is there a complete change of camera?
There would be a new camera because we've got the camera cost detailed in the report, so it says camera cost.
So
So the old one's taken away.
In which case,
Which goes to our councils.
yes,
I think so.
We can't pay 100% of the capital costs and Somerset Council say they're assets. Sorry. It's a point of principle, yeah?
so yes, we do need to change. So to consider recommending to full council to approve the use of 50 million in reserve subsidising CTB, subject to
Ownership.
ownership. Subject to ownership.
Yeah.
Yeah, have we noted that, Ollie?
Yeah.
So can we take, can I have a proposer?
Definitely not.
That's a stress. Can I have a seconder, please? Councillor Lees, and all those in favour? All carried. Thank you. Okay, the last, so before we move on to the last item on the agenda, we need, I need to put forward a motion to exclude the press and public from the following item here. Yes, it's been 16.
That's all right.
Thank you.
Yes, I do. Thanks.
Security.
We have a few crossroads with some ones we do if we interrupt all them. Yeah, green, the green spaces.
So the recommendation is that the public be excluded from this. It's likely that the disclosure of the exempt information as defined in Essentially, is this commercial sensitivity around commercial sensitivity around the tender for providing the traffic management at the tender, and also some of it contains personal data. So that's why. So if you can can we have a vote, please? All those in favour? To exclude the press and social capital. Yes, because of commercial, it's commercially sensitive.
Staying then, because I still don't. They've got to carry on. Like this is.
How many are in favour? Thank you, yeah, thanks. Yeah, it will become all, when the lovely Joe